Howdy, I'm Jason, and today on the AutoEdit Jeep, we're committing to stubbiness. Well, we're doing a bumper swap, and we're gonna go ahead and change out this pretty awesome Warn bumper and winch combo here. Now we're gonna keep the Warn Xeon 10S winch, but we're gonna commit to a stubby bumper. Now when I got this bumper originally, I kind of had no idea that I was gonna be doing as aggressive of off-roading as I ended up doing, which is actually a great thing. So I'm going to go ahead and swap this bumper out. We're gonna put the MetalCloak frame-built stubby bumper with a similar push bar like this one, or a winch guard like this. So first up, we got to get this junk off of here, and I don't mean that in a bad way. We just got to get this stuff out of the way to get the new stuff on. Now what I'll do for you guys is I'll show you, most of you guys, if you're going to do this upgrade, are going to be doing this with a stock bumper. So let me flash back to the video when I originally installed this and how to get that stock stuff off of there. We'll do a quick buzz through on that. Man, I can't even remember when the Jeep had a stock front bumper, and I'm really looking forward to this change as well. Get started by popping the tabs and removing the splash shield, then the upper filler panel. Unplug the fog lights if you have them, and remove the 4 mounting nuts on each side. Now just yank that junk off, and let's get back to our regularly scheduled stubby swap. So if any of you have watched any of the videos on my channel at all, know that Pinto here is my helper, and taking care of your helper is important. So that just means throwing the frisbee for her. All right, is part of the process. Come on, Pinto. So one of the things that I noticed really tweaking this thing the last time out in Moab was that these tires, these Maxxis tires, actually hit the bumper right in here. And that's just because they're a little bit larger than my BFGs that were just on here. And you can kind of see, as soon as that tire, you turn, if you see here, if you turn left or driver's side, that, and then it articulates up a little bit, it's gonna find that. And that's one of the benefits of going with a stubby bumper, is alleviating that. Because you definitely don't want to be chewing up your tires on your own rig. You want to chew up your tires on rocks. What we'll be installing today is the MetalCloak frame-built stubby bumper with the small winch guard, and this one has end caps that will accept the stock fog lights. First up, let's get the hook off the winch rope and tuck that back through the fairlead, since the winch is going to stay, but that bumper beneath must go. So I went ahead and loosened the winch up from the winch plate, so now that's loose there, but this is, 50 pounds of death hanging there. So I came up with the idea of using my engine hoist right. We could do this. So my thoughts is we'll go around I think that's going to do it right there. This is going to work just fine. Maybe. Should. Seems fairly secure. Let's go on with our bad selves and continue with this. Seems legit. So this way, we don't have to take the wiring off. Now, let's get the rest of this bumper off of here. And as you would think, a heavy-duty winch bumper would be fairly difficult to remove. This one totally was. But after a bit of a wrestling match, I won. The one thing that we're going to do right now is we're going to cut this tab off. Now this is where the stock vacuum pump would mount. And I had already modified that for the Warn bumper where it had been rotated this way. And now in this kit, you're going to make a cut right here and a cut right here and just pull this whole bracket off. And the pump is going to get relocated. Let's get that cut off of there and gussy it up. I used a die grinder with a cutoff wheel to remove both edges of the bracket, but I've seen guys on the interwebs use a Dremel tool. Just be careful not to damage any surrounding parts. Then hit the areas you just cut with a flap disc to take the evil off of any sharp edges. I don't need any more excuses to cut myself open. Plus, because it's me, I'm going to scrub down the area and then spray paint any exposed metal. Alright, so I have the instructions here on my laptop. This is Alienware 13, and this is my new workhorse everything laptop I edit. It's nice to have this handy out in the shop. I'll do a full review on this thing. I'm actually thinking about doing a how to edit video. I did a how to shoot car videos and stuff, and you guys seem to like that, a few of you. If you guys want to see an editing video, kind of a editing 101, let me know, and I'll do a little quick feature on this thing, because this thing is pretty much amazing, this little race car right here. But so anyway, so there's a couple of options right now. Now, you would normally drill out these holes here on both sides. I've already done that because the Warn required that. So that means it's time to rotate the sway bar disconnect mechanism to make room for the lowered winch plate of the MetalCloak bumper. This is a Rubicon only scenario and requires you to simply drop the bar down a bit, flip the housing, and reinstall with the provided bolt. Now it's time to heave the base plate into place. Secure each end with a single bolt for now, and that'll help you line up the inner frame rail holes for their fasteners. Now we'll take our flag nut, insert it into this area. Pretty fun to have this thing just dangling over there. It makes it feel like kind of a dangerous game show. One wrong move and the guillotine comes down. It's all right. Hi, buddy. I see Pinto customized her Frisbee today. She decided to go Stubby Frisbee. Doesn't fly very well like this. So we'll go ahead and get that top one started on the other side as well. And that just means washer, flag nut, probably need a knee. Now that we have the tops done and started, the trick is to get the bottom ones. So we'll continue on. Well, that's a piece of cake. That was a piece of cake. Now that we have these 4 bolts installed, we're going to go ahead and get all of the hardware in here just to get a solid alignment before we tighten those. This is a fun part. So now we're just going to tighten up these outside ones here, and that will give us a good solid bumper alignment. Everything looks pretty good. Just gonna snug those inside ones just a tad. Now that we have a good alignment here on the front frame rails, we're going to go ahead and tighten the bolts that are going into the flag nuts, and that will finalize this thing in place. And with all of that done, it was time to lower the winch into place. But once I got it in there, I noticed it was very close to the sway bar disconnect housing, so I pulled it back out for a moment and just buzzed a little material off of that to make more room. Then it went in for a final approach and got bolted down. I then mounted the stock fog lights into the end caps and bolted those on each end of the bumper cover plate. Next up, I took that whole assembly and jammed it onto the front of the Jeep. The winch guard bar goes on after that, and once all the bolts are in place, work your way around, tightening everything, making sure the bumper alignment is right. And boy howdy, does this thing already look good. Now for the cherry on top of this Stubby winch bumper sundae, I'm installing this Factor 55 Ultra Hook. This is a mega strong CNC machined aluminum hook with an integrated eyelet for a D-ring, enabling this to be used as a hook or closed system winching device. It installs easy on synthetic rope or steel cables, and the rubber padding on the handle makes for rattle-free stowing against the fair lead. I didn't even realize how much better this bumper would look on the Jeep until standing back and taking it all in. And relocating the winch down in between the bumper rails seems like a much stronger spot and will offer more protection for it. But the most important part of this install to me is the added clearance I've gained, not just for the tires to the Jeep, but for increased approach angle to obstacles. Another home run upgrade for sure. So there it is, the MetalCloak Stubby bumper installed and the winch in place. I'm loving the Factor 55 hook. This is just becoming a much more aggressive rock crawler now, and that's a great thing. You know, when I first got this thing, like I said earlier, I just thought I was gonna be kind of an overlanding kind of guy, and I still am. It's just that I'm gonna do some more advanced stuff, and this helps facilitate that. Now I'm gonna button up a few things like the wiring. I have to extend the harness to get the stock wiring harness out to the outboard position of these lights. And then the final thing is to move the vacuum pump into the engine compartment, and I have the MetalCloak kit that comes with a bracket and an extended wiring harness to make that happen. And after that, it's just out and go and do more wheeling. And until next time, enjoy your drive. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy the view here. This is good.